Hello, welcome to Jack Knits, and today we're going to learn how to do 2 different knit decrease stitches resulting in a 1 stitch decrease each. The first is a slip slip knit stitch, abbreviated SSK, and the other one is a knit 2 together, abbreviated K2tog, knit 2 together. The slip slip knit stitch results in a left leaning decrease, and the knit 2 together results in a right leaning decrease. So when you run across that in your pattern, you'll know why the designer is choosing to do either a SSK or a knit 2 together, depending on which way they want the resulting stitch to lean. So let's get right to it and look at how to do the slip slip knit stitch first. Okay, I'm going to start by just knitting a couple here, knitting 2. Okay, so now when my pattern calls for a slip slip knit, this is what I will need to do. I will need to first slip 2 stitches from the left needle to the right, and I'm not going to slip them like this as if to purl. I'm actually going to slip them as if to knit. So I'm going to slip it as if to knit 1. I'm going to slip the second one the same way as if to knit, slipping it from one needle to the other. And my second step is I'm going to just basically transfer those stitches from my right needle to the left needle by just slipping them over to that left needle. And you can see when I did that, I basically just changed the orientation of those two stitches. So they just have been twisted. Now I'm going to knit both of those 2 stitches together, but through the back loop. So I'm going to stick my right needle in through both of those stitches through the back loop and knit those 2 together and pull them off your needle. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that one more time, but this time with a bit of a shortcut. So let's just knit 2 here, and let's do the slip slip knit again. So slip 1 stitch as if to knit, slip the second stitch as if to knit. Now transfer them over to your left needle, but before I remove this right needle, if you'll notice, it is in the exact position that it needs to be in order to do that knit 2 together through the back loop. It's right through those back loops, got them both on both needles, so all I need to do now is grab my yarn and knit them through together. So that just saves you half a step, a quick little tip there. Okay, so now let's knit a couple more and I will show you the knit 2 together. Now the knit 2 together is much easier to do, and it is basically exactly what it tells you to do, knit 2 together. So instead of just knitting 1 stitch, I'm going to knit these 2 stitches together, and I will accomplish that by sticking my needle in through both of these stitches as if to knit. So see how I got my needle in through both of those? Now grabbing my yarn and knitting them together. So pulling that yarn through both of those stitches and pulling it off my needle. Okay, let's look at that one more time. Let's knit a couple. And now let's knit these 2 stitches together, 1 and 2. Slip them, put your needle through both of those stitches, grab your yarn, knit them together. And that will result in a 1 stitch decrease with a knit 2 together. Let's finish this row with 2 knits. Okay, I'm just going to quickly now purl my next row so you can kind of see how those 2 stitches look as a result. Okay, so now let's take a look at what those stitches look like. So you'll see that with the slip slip knit stitches that I did here, you can tell that the resulting stitch is a left leaning decrease. You can see the slant of the stitches is leaning to the left, as opposed to the knit 2 together, which you can see here are leaning to the right. A little more subtle, but you can tell that those stitches are leaning to the right. So that's the resulting difference between the slip slip knit and the knit 2 together. And that is how to do the decrease stitches. So if you run across that in your pattern, now you know how to do this. I hope you found this helpful. If so, please like and don't forget to subscribe to receive notifications of future new videos all about knitting tips and stitches and creative patterns. Thanks for watching and happy knitting!